Hello and welcome to Crypto Masters. This is Manoj Dara. So, cryptocurrency market is under broader stress as investors shun riskier assets such as stocks and cryptocurrencies amid an uncertain economic environment. So, market participants have now shifted focus on the company performance in United States of America, which will be monitored by the Q2 earnings. That will underline the economic impact of the Federal Reserve's tightening and indicate whether investors should be cautious with their spending on riskier assets like cryptos. Investors also hope that oil prices slid from 3 months peak hit earlier in June could ease pricing pressure and allow the US Federal Reserve to tighten policy less aggressively than initially feared, reducing the risk of an economic recession. So, however, crypto investors are still worried over the consequence of a crypto winter, a common term used for a bear market in the digital assets after Celsius prepares for a bankruptcy and as crypto hedge fund Three Arrow Capital faces risk of default. To explain the entire sequence, we have invited a special guest. Let me introduce you to Mr. Raj Kapoor, founder of India Blockchain Alliance. Sir, welcome on Crypto TV.
Yes, Manoj, thank you for having me here. First of all, it's a wonderful place to come again. Happy to be here once again.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, as we are talking about the global cryptocurrency market is under a broader stress. As we are speaking, market is falling and there are talks of crypto winter. So can you explain this for our viewers? What is this? What does this crypto winter phrase means and when does this crypto winter starts and how can you explain or simplify this process for our viewers, sir?
Okay. In very, very simple terms, like crypto winter is the beginning of a major downdraft or a bear market in the crypto space. That's the basic, simplest line. However, it is not just one or two or three factors that contribute to a crypto winter. There are plenty of them. Now, we've been seeing in the last few days, weeks and months, Bitcoin, Ether are all on a downward spiral. Right. But it's not just these. Other leading coins and tokens, Cardano, Polygon, all are 60 to 80% down, flat. That is a real big thing. That's one. Why it has happened, I'll explain that to you as well. But besides that, apart from a falling market, the controversy around Luna, the controversy around many other companies, many scams have taken place recently, a lot of security issues, especially from the SEC, USA, inflation, all these have contributed. Even companies like say Coinbase and Gemini, they have announced hiring freezes and early layoffs. Now, June has seen lots of layoffs in this. All these are contributing. Even the prices of Coinbase have fallen 86% for instance, in the last 52-week high. And they announced big plans for not only globally, but for India as well. All that has taken a backseat. If you look at it in a very systematic manner, these layoffs, SEC regulations, no clarity, lack of regulations, all put together have brought about a bear phase, which we call crypto winter. Basically, we've just entered it, and this is what is known as a contraction phase. And a period of status means nothing is going to move anyway. It's all going sideways. This is what the industry calls crypto winter.
Sir, as we are talking about crypto winter and the road ahead, since you have already mentioned about series of factors that are impacting the global cryptocurrency market, when this year started, we were very optimistic about the growth of cryptocurrency industry. And then there were certain incidents, as you have highlighted, that happened. And hence we are seeing at a level wherein there is a broader concern. So is this the end of the crypto craze, sir? Or is there an advantage of this crypto winter as well?
Well, let's be very honest. Every investment has a summer and a winter and an autumn and a spring. However, I would say this is not the first time the crypto winter has ever settled over the market. If you remember, around 2018 Jan to 2020 December, this term actually crypto winter first came into being because there was a meltdown in the markets during that time, where Bitcoin had actually lost more than half its market cap. And this didn't happen now. This happened in 2018 to 2020. Even Litecoin, Ethereum, everything went crashing down. Now, I know from experience that crypto winters quite a lot of bear market and the results aren't different from bear markets. Long-term crypto winters, basically, they take out young startups and actually present companies and to actually consolidate the product rather than rely only on tokens and coins for wealth generation. Now we see one of the key things we see are good companies which are going to be there in the market. The riffraff will all get away. So basically, as I say, we'll sift the wheat from the chaff. We'll have the good, solid companies moving ahead while the others fall by the wayside. In a way, it's a good. This shakeout is needed. We saw a lot of new startups, all of them, and all of them rushing to the markets during the crypto boom, should we say. But all will not survive. And that's a good litmus test now for
Perfect.
those who survive and those who go through. In fact, it's a great advantage to be in this space today. So while a lot of people say, oh, this is the end of cryptocurrency, well, it's not. It's a great time to take advantage of it. Now, we can rethink our market strategies. We can rethink our tokenomics. We can rethink the way we approach markets with more value. So we'll see value-based companies, value-based tokens taking the front seat now, and the speculative, not so great coins take a back seat or be weeded out of the system. So I think this is a great thing which has happened in a way it was supposed to happen, quite like the internet bubble which burst many years back. This is a shakeup. This is also a wake-up call for a lot of people to understand the technology better, to understand crypto better, and not just be a blind follower. So I would say this is a great space to understand, learn, educate, become aware, and then invest in real good tokens rather than just speculative or hearsay tokens.
So you mentioned about a broader strategy, what should be the investor strategy as of now. So can you just suggest your views as far as what should be the investor's frame of mind in a falling market, and what should be their moves, calibrated moves. If you can just start with the biggest cryptocurrency, as we are talking about, Bitcoin is refusing to go above 22,000, which is their 200-day moving average.
Right.
There is a big resistance as far as whenever it touches that level, there is a big selling. So Bitcoin, as we are talking about, sir, last week we have read this news that in May and June alone, Bitcoin miners, they have sold roughly around 9,500 Bitcoins. Bitfarm is one of the biggest miner. He has sold 3,000 odd Bitcoins. So this is actually a broader concern. And as we speak, there are institutional investors also who have sold their Bitcoins. So what is the way forward? What is the right strategy to get in? Dominance is coming down from 47, 48% to 41% as we are talking about. What is your advice for the viewers, sir?
Okay. Now, as you very correctly said, miners have sold 9,500. Institutional, the institutions are selling. But let's look at the other side. If they are selling, somebody is buying, right? They are buying because of a certain reason, and somebody is selling because of a certain reason. The reason for somebody is buying in a falling market are those people who have deep pockets, who have a long-term strategy,
right,
or not look at speculation as an option. That's the first thing. Most important thing, somebody is buying, right? Well, I don't expect crypto to come roaring back like it did in 2021 because the tailwind of the Federal Reserve policy has become for the asset class, saying that they're not very sure how they're going to classify it. But if they do classify it as one of the things which is happening now, it's going to be a major move, not only for Bitcoin, but for other cryptocurrencies going forward. Some investors, and I see most investors, are looking at this pullback as an opportunity to accumulate. And that, I think, is great. So one of the things is we are not going to be seeing too many of speculative investments. We're not going to be seeing too many of people buying, selling, front running, etc. That's not going to happen.
Right, sir.
Investors will come in and they will double down on the market for the long term. That's going to be one of the things. With Bitcoin less than a third of what it was last year, I see investors viewing it as an opportunity to buy at a discount. We know that there is a limit and a cap on how many Bitcoins are going to be created.
Right, sir.
Yes, 40 is that, but long term, people are now accumulating. And I would suggest the same for investors. Don't panic. Hold on. Keep aside enough money which you feel that you can invest for the long term. If you're thinking short term, that's not the right time right now.
Fantastic. As you're talking about keep something for the road ahead as well. But there is a big move that has happened, sir. The US Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman, Gary Gensler, has reiterated that cryptocurrencies had the key attributes of a security and some of them fell within the purview of a regulatory body. Since he is hinting towards something Bitcoin, or for that matter, the biggest cryptocurrency. He was talking in an interaction with CNBC TV 18, and he hinted towards
Yes.
its characteristic as a commodity. So what is your view on
Absolutely.
that? Is it a big victory for the entire cryptocurrency space, sir?
I would take it as a win, that's for sure. When we say every cloud has a silver lining, I would say this is the silver lining. When Gary, and in a CNBC interview, mentioned that, he clarified that Bitcoin was a product. And keeping in mind that besides Bitcoin, you're not talking about other crypto, but basically Bitcoin being the market leader sets the tempo for things to come in the future. How even Ether is a commodity. So basically what he said, in a sense, for in a very simple words, he acknowledged it as a product. He acknowledged it as an asset class. It has been given some sort of a tangibility. And that, I think, is really critical. And investors should read between the lines. Regulators should read between the lines that there is regulation coming. There is going to be some frameworks.
Fantastic.
This ambiguity or opacity, what we call in the markets, is going to be a thing of the past.
Fantastic.
It's just a question of time. And America is a market leader in this space. While that happens, and I'll tell you some more things as well. Even in India, SEBI is working on similar frameworks. I think that is a move also parallelly, which is going to be a big impact in the future. So guys, in the crypto winter, don't panic. Enjoy the winter. Just think you're in Switzerland, guys. And then you can come back to India whenever you want. It's just a question of time.
Don't panic. That's a word coming in from Mr. Raj Kapoor, sir. Moving on, there is one more statement which I want your comments on as well. So, SEC Chairman Mr. Chancellor, in its declaration concurs with the Chairman of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, there is CFTC, Rostin Benjamin, who was also stated last month that Bitcoin is a commodity. Sir, there is something which is going on between the commodity segment and the SEC, and however, Benjamin has also stated that Ether or ETH is likewise a commodity. So there is a big hint which they are giving, and they are heading towards a regulation. What's your opinion, sir?
I think we're definitely heading towards regulation, because I'll tell you what, Manoj, one of the things when we see a crypto winter or a major sudden swing upwards, either way, let's take both sides of the coin. When that happens, that means there is no regulation in place, especially if the upside or the downside has been very sudden and the trajectory moves up or down really fast. Moving up and down means there is no checks and balances in place, really. And I think regulation needs to be in place. That is the first major bucket we must be looking at. While we look at what the SEC is doing, what the Bureau of Economics and Analysis, BIA, is doing, whether it's SEBI, whether all regulatory bodies, whatever they're doing, they're trying to put together a method in the madness. They're putting all the moving parts into a single place. That is very critical, and a very strong acknowledgement of what we're going to see in the future. Even India's crypto policy basically hinges a lot on that, going on and getting feedback from what's happening globally. And I think this is the right move. And I think we'll see the light of the day very, very soon in this.
Yeah, as we will, there are a lot of optimistic, words which you have used in your statement, sir. But since we are talking about Ethereum and its road ahead, the merge is actually creating a big inquisitiveness in the minds of investors. So will it happen? And what is your strategy as far as Ethereum is concerned? And a second question, a follow-up on that is, what should investors do in such market as far as should they be focusing on staking or yield farming? What is your opinion, sir, if you can just club these two things?
Sure. Well, Ethereum, Bitcoin, all these are large, big players, have been there. They have a lot of critical projects happening on them. So one thing for sure, they're not going anywhere. Yes, there will be price volatility. There will have to be a price volatility. There always is. But my opinion, hold on. Yes, Ethereum is now forking and creating better suggestions and solutions to its platform, better inflections in them. That I think will be good for them. And to follow up on your question, what do we do with Bitcoin, Ethereum? We're holding them, prices are down. Well, staking and yield farming are currently the best options. Why? Quite like a bank fixed deposit, they will give you fixed returns. And I think that is an option to exercise while the market stabilizes, while the winter turns into summer and then it goes beyond that. We got to have all our assets, let's leverage them better. And staking offers that, yield farming offers that. So why not get into that space? It's a great space to be. Your securities are safe with you while you hold them, you earn the interest on them. Don't let them lie idle. Go ahead and do that. There are plenty of opportunities. Go ahead. I would suggest please do that. So and don't really invest very high right now.
Right, sir. So since you mentioned about a fixed return, there is one more crypto lender who has actually promised to give 18.6% per annum. That was Celsius.
Celsius. Yes, Celsius.
Yeah, and we are talking about a broader bankruptcy talks. And there is Goldman Sachs who is coming, I don't know, it is coming for its rescue or for its own interest. Roughly around $2 billion is the size of asset which Goldman Sachs intends to buy of Celsius. So how can you explain this entire episode and the impact which Celsius has created on the entire market?
Well, Celsius raised money, they raised expectations, but most important, by offering very high yield returns, they actually fueled the greed in every human being that we have. Every human being is greedy and wants more, and felt, wow, it's a great opportunity to earn lots of money. Frankly speaking, it's too good to be true. And that's exactly what has happened. When Bitcoin and Ether fell, everything fell. They locked the accounts. Celsius went for a toss, blah, blah, everything. We all know Celsius was one of the catalysts for the fear cycle of this, fear psychosis in the winters, what we call the crypto winters. Now, Goldman Sachs is actually looking, overall, conceptually, Celsius, what they had was a great concept. The concept you cannot fault.
Right, sir.
Because it has fallen, Goldman Sachs is now looking at it as an opportunity, raising $2 billion, and mind you, is raising the $2 billion from its investors. It's not on his own. That's the key thing. It's from his investors who they feel, if they have the faith, which they will have, are going to make it big in this. Basically, the proposed deal is to buy Celsius assets at huge discounts right now in the event that Celsius files for a bankruptcy. So they are looking at the long term. They are looking at gauging interest. Basically, this is one of their strategies. And look at it from a different perspective. It's from their strategy, and they're soliciting commitments from Web3 crypto funds specializing in distressed assets and financial institutions, which have ample cash in hand. They're also basically gauging what are market sentiments for the future. They're not putting in money themselves. They're raising money. That's the big difference. Assets, cryptocurrencies right now, according to them, are being sold cheap, and they would like to get this leverage and manage their part in the fundraising at a lower cost now. So they've also they already have they're already talking to restructuring firms. Celsius is doing that. Well, Goldman Sachs, although has not really pushed the button completely, but they're all there. They're going to do it. So it's a question of time before they do it. And Celsius, while it has a great model, right now it is in great trouble as well. So great models always don't translate into great results.
Fantastic.
You've got to be a little careful, understand exactly why and how it happened, and just be a little careful. Don't let greed guide you. Let your common sense guide you. And we all have that.
Right, sir. So you gave a fantastic piece of advice that what is happening in the Celsius ecosystem. But since we are talking about Celsius, it has always, since the time it has gone under concern from the two tokens, as you mentioned, Terra Luna, the entire ecosystem collapsed, and then Celsius also, was on a downward spiral. So Celsius network threatens to become the industry's Lehman Brothers. Do you agree? First of all.
Yes,
and
I agree. I agree. Anything which is too good to be true generally is too good.
All right.
And they're not using their funds to do anything. They're using investor funds to make money for themselves, just like a bank does more or less. But in this case, the greed factor playing a bigger role because more people are getting inside the system. And of course, crypto basically, in my opinion, has been always based on fast money, greed, etc. That's not a great strategy. Not for crypto, not for anything else. Okay. I think all of us need to recalibrate ourselves and say, listen, it's a great asset class for the future. Right. It's money 4.0, but it is not a get-rich-quick scheme. That is what we should avoid. The pitfalls is what we should apply. Take away from the system. We should avoid them.
So since we're talking about Celsius, Celsius was first to announce the freeze as far as the 1.7 million investors are concerned. Singapore-based hedge fund 3 Arrow has also defaulted on its payments.
Yes.
So this is actually creating a bigger mess for the entire Babel Finance, as we are talking about. And there is one more exchange, and there is one more, and one more. So what is the current situation? And one more interesting thing which I want to discuss with you, sir, is Bitfarm has actually sold his 3,000 Bitcoins. So actually this is not a statement which we can digest because there is no one to take their Bitcoin and lend. That is something which is happening in this industry. the liquidity situation has gone for a toss. What is your opinion on the current situation, sir?
See, liquidity is taken a real beating, that's for sure. But again, if you circle back to my first comment, which I said, if somebody is selling, somebody is buying. Somebody has got the liquidity with them. There are people who are suffering. And of course, those people who have are going to be the ones who are going to take advantage of this. Now, multiple firms, all of them suffering, whether it is Coinbase, whether it is Gemini, even those, they have frozen hiring, etc. Even in India, you look very closer to home. Look at the exchanges like the CoinDCX, WazirX, they have also frozen a lot of their, recently we had statements saying that we're not hiring anymore and they're all realigning their business, etc. Liquidity is a problem globally now in this space. It grew too fast. In my opinion, it grew really way beyond it should have grown. It's blockchain, which is the big phenomena. It's not necessarily crypto, but the fact is that everybody understood crypto before they understood blockchain. And that brings us to the question, why don't you guys understand blockchain? If you do that, you will understand the vagaries of crypto and then make decisions accordingly. All these companies which you mentioned right now, right from the Coinbase to Gemini to all the others to Celsius, etc., all of them, if you look at it, did not have the blockchain background. They had a crypto understanding and they took advantage of the vagaries of an unregulated space and were first movers in that. And therefore, their success went up, but also their failure. So as they say, right, what goes up must come down. And that's exactly what we are seeing right now.
One last question before we step into our rapid fire question and answer session, sir. So what is your opinion as far as the investor are concerned? So some are sitting on cash, some are sitting on huge losses. So what is your advice to them, sir?
Yes. Those sitting on cash, hold and pick up small lots in regular, good, steady, stable coins.
Okay, if you can just mention few, sir.
Well, I would say Bitcoin is still a good buy, even though it's low. Yes, it's pretty low right now. It's a good time to keep accumulating. Even if it goes down to 18, 16, you can still keep buying it because there is an intrinsic value which people perceive. It doesn't have personally any asset-backed anything. So pick up that. Pick up coins which have got some good value in the future. Look at Solana as one of them, Ripple as some of them. These are good to look into the future. If you're looking at quick money, don't look at any of these. Don't look at anything. Put your money on a horse and hope for the best. But if you're looking at long-term investments, these are the coins which are going to have some value. So I would say still look at Bitcoin, have a look at Ethereum, have a look at Solana, have a look at Avalanche, have a look at Algorand. They are moving pretty fast in the right direction. Plus, they've got projects on them to back them. So they are not speculative coins. They are more tokens and coins which have certain intrinsic value. Look at those. Of course, this is based on their moving averages, their technicals, etc. Crypto winters can be very long, so don't expect overnight success in this, that's for sure. But look at these 4 or 5 stable, steady coins. Well, I will not say stable coins, but steady coins. And these are the coins which are going to have intrinsic value going forward. There are many more, but these are the ones which we all know in India. So go ahead and look at these, keep tracking them and keep putting small amounts aside month on month, week on week, depending on the movements, and keep putting in money in that. That's where you're going to make some money in the future.
Fantastic. That's a fantastic piece of advice coming in from Mr. Raj Kapoor. Sir, we enter our last segment, the rapid fire question, where I will ask you some quick questions and you have to answer it in very short and very precise manner and very quickly, sir. So first question is, will Bitcoin bounce back to its level above 30,000, sir, and by when?
Okay, my answer is yes, it'll bounce back. By when is a very difficult guesstimate, but I would say within a year and a half, you'll find it beyond that point. That's for sure. Why? Short term, no returns.
All right. So my second question to you is, after the merge is complete, so layer 2 solutions, will they still survive?
There is always a place for layer 2 solutions. So survival is not the question. How they evolve and innovate for the future, that is going to be the question. Survival is not going to be the question. They will survive.
So when can we see the entire global cryptocurrency market touching $3 trillion again, sir?
Well, in my opinion, it'll still take a year and a half. We are going through a very terrible winter, lots of things. By the time, there'll be a lot of clarity. As regulations come in place, we will see the movement going upward. It'll be in sync with regulations. Fantastic.
The market will be in sync with regulation, and the regulation is the way forward. That's the word coming in from Mr. Raj Kapoor. Thank you so much, sir, for being a part of this special interaction on Crypto TV, and thank you so much for educating our viewers. It was a pleasure having you on Crypto TV, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure being here, Manoj. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
That's all there is in today's Crypto Masters. So cryptocurrency markets are highly volatile. The views of the guest are purely his and doesn't represent of that of Crypto TV. So consult your financial advisor always before making any investment bet. Until then, keep watching Crypto TV. Thank you.